All right, so in this video, I want to talk about when you're migrating from Pipedrive to HubSpot. There are three main objects in HubSpot, and that's contacts, companies, and deals. In Pipedrive, you have people, organizations, deals, and leads. And so obviously people go to contacts, organizations go to companies, deals go to deals. But what do you do with the leads object inside of Pipedrive when you're trying to migrate that into HubSpot? So in this video, I want to talk about how to manage or handle the lead object in Pipedrive and convert that into an equivalent thing inside of HubSpot. So first thing is understanding the lead object. When you create a lead, it requires you. So when I try and save this, I can't save it because I haven't tied this lead to a person or an organization. So in HubSpot terms, that would be every lead is either essentially tagging a person or a company with some sort of lead type. And you can see here that they have lead type, in this case, A and B leads. And those are all going to be tied to either people or companies. And then if you put in a company name, then you would have to put in like what's the company's phone number and all that stuff. So what I've done already is I exported a list of all the leads from this system. I've got a title for all of the leads, and then it tells me the contact person that this lead is associated to. And it also tells me here the contact ID of this person inside of the system. And then the other piece here that I'm looking for, back in Pipedrive, I wanted to see if I can get an email address so if we go to our leads and we're looking for, actually, no, sorry, we don't actually need the email, even though there is an email here, because we can just associate in HubSpot the contact person ID here to this lead. And so in our case, what we're doing is we're going to be giving a tag to every person that's on this list. That would be either an A or B lead for, here's our lead type here. And so let's do this. I've sorted this list by contact person. So all of the people, all the leads that are associated with people are at the top. And then if you scroll down, you will see all of these ones here are all of the ones that are associated to organizations. So the ones at the bottom of the list are all my organization leads. And I want to copy this entire thing. I'm going to make a new sheet here. Leave that first row open, paste in all of my organization leads there. I can now delete them from this sheet. I'm going to name this one leads. Let's call it Pipedrive leads people. And then this one's going to be Pipedrive leads companies. And then if we go back to this one, I'm going to take the title up here. So I'm going to take this, copy the title, and paste it into the first row here. And then let's go ahead and turn on freeze that first row. All right, so these are the organization IDs that I'm going to need. And then this one is my Pipedrive leads with the contact ID. So when I'm importing this into HubSpot, I need the associated HubSpot ID of this contact. So, or I need the associated HubSpot ID of the contact that I imported here. So let's go back into here. And in a separate video, I showed you how you can take the Pipedrive contacts or people, import them in as HubSpot contacts, and then export them back and import them into Pipedrive so that you have the reference IDs of both systems. And so what I'm going to do here is go to my contacts, and then I want to view just the migration people not in HubSpot yet. So these contacts are not imported into HubSpot, and I need these imported in order to finish the migration of the people. So let's go ahead and export filter results as a CSV. Oh, actually, you know what? I want first name, last name. So let's do first name, last name, save. So now I have first name, last name, and email for each person. So let's go ahead now. Let's export this. download. All right, so before we do the leads piece, I'm going to go back and click import a file, start import. I got to go next. Now I can drag the file in, and we want to create and update contacts. So I'm going to click next. And this one, I'm not going to import the person name. I want the email to go to the email field. And there's giving me a bunch of errors. So it says view values with the errors. So on these, there's a bunch of emails that just are incorrect or not valid email addresses. So we are going to have to fix those. Actually, I'm going to make a new field that we're just going to call invalid email. So we're going to call this invalid email from Pipedrive. And the field type is just going to be a text box, single line text. And we're not going to show it in forms and create. So at least now I can store this email into a field in Pipedrive that someone could look at and clean up later. Then I don't need to import this, don't need to import this. The person HubSpot contact that doesn't exist yet, so I don't need that. And then this is going to be first name, and this is going to be last name. Oh man, I forgot the one thing that I needed is the Pipedrive person ID. So let's do the person ID, save. That's what I need. So once again, I'm going to export this, download. Because if I don't have that person ID, it kind of defeats the whole purpose of what I'm doing here. So let's go grab the latest file and go next. And I'm not importing the first one. This one is invalid email from Pipedrive. I don't need that. Don't need this. Don't need that. This would be the first name, last name, person ID. So Pipedrive, person ID. All right, so now I have the email, which is just getting written to the invalid field because these are all invalid emails. Click next. So people with invalid emails. Create a list. I agree. And finish import. So while this is importing, or once it gets imported, so it just made 621 new records, I'm going to view my contacts here. I've got my Pipedrive and my HubSpot record ID. So I'm going to export this again as a CSV. Extract the export, 621, it's ready to go. And then I go back to people. Let's go to the import data. No, I don't want to continue this one. Let's go ahead and go back to import data, cancel import. Okay, now we're doing my new one from HubSpot. So 621 contacts. And I'm having the record ID go to HubSpot contact ID. Pipedrive person ID would go to Pipedrive system. I don't need to import the names, and we're good there. So let's click next and merge. Okay, so we're going to let this import. As soon as this imports now, what I need to do is go back to the export data, and I'm going to export. Actually, I'm going to go to people just to get a smaller, simpler list. So we're going to go to contacts, and then I'm going to remove the filter here. And I want the HubSpot contact ID with the Pipedrive person ID, and I want all 13,000 people. So I'm going to export just this, but before I do that, I need to make sure that all of my import has finished. So let's go check, view the progress. So as soon as this is done, then I can do that export. And again, what I'm trying to get is I want a complete list of all contacts in Pipedrive with their Pipedrive record IDs and the corresponding HubSpot record ID, so that when I import them into HubSpot, I can tag each of those contacts with the correct lead status that they should have. So we're going to let this finish. Go back to our list here. So again, this is the list that we're going to be using. And I basically want to go and say, Wendy inside of HubSpot that has this Pipedrive ID, I need to know what is the corresponding HubSpot contact ID for this contact, because I want to say this person is a lead and they happen to be a or B or whatever the tag is here. So let's go look at our contacts in here. So we have right now in HubSpot, the various properties that we have for contacts are A lead, B lead, C lead. And HubSpot has this field in here called Lifecycle stage. So we can use this to be the correct lifecycle stage that we want. So set a lifecycle stage when a contact or company is created. So they would be defaulting to lead. And I think what I want to do is add a stage here that is going to be called A lead. And so we're going to call them A lead, B lead, and C lead. So if I move this up, it would basically go just from a general lead to a C lead to a B lead to an A lead, and save that. And that's going to be the life cycle of the customer. All right, so let's go back and check on our Pipedrive import. So the import's done here. And then what I need to do is export the entire contact list. So I'm going to go back to contacts, and I've got my entire contact list, all 13,000 people. Export filtered results as a CSV. Download that. And then I'm going to insert this newly downloaded field or CSV and do this. And insert new sheets, import. And I'm just going to call this Pipedrive HubSpot record ID lookup. So here's my Pipedrive person ID. Here's my HubSpot contact ID. And I need to look up the Pipedrive person ID and return the HubSpot contact ID. So when I go back to this one, I'm going to do a simple VLOOKUP, and I'm looking up the Pipedrive person ID. So that's my search key. The range is going to be this. The index is going to be the second column, and I'm going to say it's not sorted. And let's go. Copy, paste to the bottom, and all these records that don't have a value, delete those. Okay, so I here now have all of these leads, and I now know their HubSpot contact ID. So now before I import, I don't need any of this other stuff. I just need the contact ID and then what lead it should be. So I'm going to delete all of this, delete, and then I want so I have the person ID from Pipedrive, the contact ID, the organization. I don't need. Actually, I guess we could do the link of the organization as well. So if it is tied to both, let's go ahead and do that. So let's go back and grab the companies first. So organizations, and this is going to be organizations not in HubSpot. So all of my organizations are in HubSpot. That's good. I have 3,117. And then let's get the ID from the organization and from HubSpot. Save that. And I can close. I don't need the address. Don't need people, any of that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Okay, so basically, save. So all I'm doing is the company name, the Pipedrive ID, and the HubSpot company ID. And then let's go ahead and export this to CSV, export, download. I'm going to take that and go File, Import, Upload. And this one I'm going to call Pipedrive HubSpot Company Record ID Lookup. And I should probably rename this one to be People Contact Record ID Lookup. Okay, back to my leads. So I do have an organization ID on some of these. So I'm going to go here and say another VLOOKUP here. And I want to say if the organization ID is not blank. So if the organization is not blank, then I want to do VLOOKUP, the organization ID in this range, return the second column, false. If it is blank, then just output nothing. So that worked there. Where is my formula? What the? Okay, so if organization ID is not blank, then do VLOOKUP organization ID in this range to false. If it is true, that. Okay, so I have that copy, paste at the bottom. And now I've got, this is going to be my HubSpot company ID. And I want to make sure now that I have these that I copy all of these. So I'm going to copy the entire thing, Command Shift V to paste it as values. So that way this doesn't get messed up later. So I now have my HubSpot contact ID and my HubSpot company ID. So these fields here I'm going to use. I'm going to import the Pipedrive lead ID, Pipedrive lead ID. I'm going to import the HubSpot contact ID. If there is a company ID, do that one as well. And then on the, I won't need that on the import, but I'll leave it. Won't need that. The lead created. Yeah, we could do, that's not going to be necessary. Update time seen. Delete. And we do want to bring in the next activity date. So I'm going to bring that in. The source origin ID, source channel. And canvasser, estimator. And I'm going to call lead type Lifecycle stage. And then back to here. Yeah, that should work. So Lifecycle stage. I'm going to sort this entire list. I don't know what 36 means. So we're just going to call this, looks like there's quite a few. So I'm actually going to import or create another one that's called 36 from Pipedrive, which we would probably merge at some point. So I'm just going to put that in as 36. And then the rest of these that don't have any, so they don't have A or B, we're just going to put them in as lead. So those are all just going to be leads. And then the services that they want, interior, exterior painting. Let's do exterior deck. Okay, so I think we have everything that we need to actually import these now. Services. Okay, so I've got everything I need. Let's go ahead and do download CSV. All right, so in the import now. I'm going to go to import a file, start import, and I want to do contacts and companies. And I don't want to create new contacts for any of these. I just want to update existing contacts only. And the same thing for companies. I just want to update existing companies only. So I just downloaded the CSV of that. So let's go grab that. And this is our people list. Let's click next. And so here we have a few things that need to be, we need an email and a record ID. So for Pipedrive lead ID, I want to put this into contact, and I want to make this a Pipedrive. We need to make a new field here, Pipedrive lead ID. It's going to be single line text, contact, Pipedrive. We're going to do contact properties, single line text is fine. So we're going to import Pipedrive lead ID to the Pipedrive lead ID of the contact. The HubSpot contact is going to be contact record ID. HubSpot company ID is going to be company record ID. Contact person ID. I don't need that. Don't import. Don't import. I'm just going to say don't import any of the unmapped columns. The lead was created on. We can't change the create date, so we're not going to import that. Update time, don't import. Archive time, don't import. This we're going to do contact. We're just going to make a property that's called seen. It's a single checkbox, seen, not seen. Seen, not seen, next activity date. And this one we are going to call Pipedrive next activity date. Date picker, good. So we've got next activity date, the source origin, don't import lead source. And so I need to add in another lead source for that one. And then this one is Tritus. We're just going to put in brand for that. Actually, no, we'll make its own thing there too. So let's go do okay, in the life cycle stage, I need A to go to A lead, 98 to go to door to door, A lead, other services, we're not going to import right now, job address, Pipedrive lead notes. This one we're going to do import list name, another one, create a new property. So we have our Pipedrive import list name, and then the deal ID I do not need. All right, so everything else is mapped. What does it say here? Map one of all records in HubSpot have a unique record ID. This is going to be Pipedrive leads to contacts. Finish import. So there's 8,231. I updated 8,231 contacts and 139 new associations. Looks like it's still working on that. So those would be the contacts and companies that got associated together. All right. So if I go back to my contacts here, let's go to the contact list. And now I want to sort by A leads, or whoops, this would be life cycle. So if life cycle stage is an A lead, and I would see all of my A leads here. And do the same thing for B and C and so on. So I'm going to go ahead and that handles the leads, at least for now. Oh, we need to do the companies now. So we just imported all of the people into contacts, or tagged the contacts in HubSpot with the lead based on who the lead was associated with. And then for companies, we have the Pipedrive lead that are associated to companies, and we want to do the same thing that we did here. So the organization ID, let's go right, and this is going to be the HubSpot company ID, and we're going to do a VLOOKUP of the organization ID in this range. Return the second column, false. Copy that to the bottom. All right, so that's how we have the organization. We don't need any of this. Don't need the labels. And let's go ahead and click delete all that. And then HubSpot company ID that created, updated, archive time, delete, seen, not seen, value, currency, creator. Don't need any of that. All right, so I'm going to export this, download as a CSV, go back to here, click import, and I want to import a file, start import, and I'm going to import to companies. Let's take that company file I just got, and I want to update existing companies only. And this is going to be the Pipedrive lead ID. The title, we'll call this the Pipedrive lead title. Pipedrive call status. Property type, don't import, lead type. other services. And here we're just making sure that we have fields for all these. So Pipedrive lead or import list name, and we want this to be a single line text. And we don't need to import the ID. All right, so that is all of the stuff there. We're going to call this Pipedrive Leads associated to organizations. Finish the import. And now we have all contacts, all companies imported into HubSpot and tagged with the correct lead status for those. It looks like we had a few errors. So duplicate record ID. That probably means that we had two deals or two leads that had the same record ID. Let's go look at that actually. Count if. So this is a little trick I like to do. If, yep, enter, copy, paste. Okay, so like in this situation, it's saying that there was 3 other records that had the same HubSpot company ID and 3 that had this one. Oh, wait a minute. D. Yeah, so this just means that there were several, like you can see here, London City Center is in here several times. And so that's just that's an error we can ignore. All right, so if we go back to our contacts here, I want to make a few views. One would be for A leads. So let's create a new view and we're going to call these A leads. And this will be visible to everyone. And A leads are for the lifecycle stage. Is any of a lead. And then let's go ahead and save that. And then I want to clone this. So we're going to call this B leads. Confirm. And we're going to change this to B lead. And then let's just do all leads. So we're going to clone this and say all leads. And this is going to be if it is A, B, or C, or 36, or 98. And then we want to do an OR filter and say, or the lead ID is known. So this is our list of contact leads that came from the other system. And there we go. We have A leads, B leads, all. And now we can make, some lists to tackle those. But that is the process of importing leads, or how I believe you should import your Pipedrive leads into HubSpot. That was a technical video. Many of you probably dropped off, but if you're still here, hopefully that was valuable. Let me know if you have any other questions, just like documenting what I'm learning as I learn it. We'll see you guys in the next video.